Welcome everyone to the Baseball America post-game wrap-up here at the College World Series. We're in the Jack Payne Suite here in the Rosenblatt press box, which is kind of awesome. Lou Spry usually sits over here, but we won't have Lou today. We'll just have me and Aaron talking a little college baseball. Hope you enjoy it. Aaron, a great day of games today. North Carolina losing 5-2 to Arizona State in a tremendous game where we had Alex White of North Carolina give the single best performance of the day. And then we had Texas and Southern Miss in just a tremendous game with a rough ending. Just a hotly contested game that Texas wins 7-6. What were the keys? Let's focus on the winners first, actually. Arizona State and Texas. What has those two teams advancing to be 1-0, and North Carolina and Southern Miss coming on Tuesday to play an elimination game?
Opportunistic. Those were the more opportunistic teams, especially when it mattered at the end of the game. North Carolina and Texas bullpens couldn't throw strikes.
Yeah, good point.
That was huge.
Southern Miss bullpen.
Southern Miss, excuse me. And Texas and Arizona State just executed better. I mean, it's the way baseball goes so often. It's the team that executes better is the team that wins. And I think that's what happened exactly. I was a little surprised by the fact that the two older teams today are the two teams that didn't execute down the stretch.
Great point.
North Carolina, we know that they've got the most Omaha experience in this field by a mile. And Southern Miss is the much more veteran team than Texas, although neither of them really had any players with Omaha experience, but Southern Miss had the older players. I will say this, I picked Southern Miss today, John. I'm 0-4. All right, let's get it out there. I'm 0-4. It's hard to do. I challenge you to go 0-4. Good luck, even if you try. I'm 0-4. I picked Southern Miss today, but I did so even with the reservation that I was worried about the Southern Miss bullpen, which pitched very well in the Super Regional. That said, I mean, I think it's a soft spot for them, and
proven out tonight.
Sure reared its head today.
And the other soft spot I think involved in this is North Carolina's bullpen, which does not, a couple years ago when they got to the finals of back-to-back years, they had Andrew Kerrigan out of the bullpen. That guy was underrated in college baseball. And he was a fifth-round pick in the pro draft, but that guy had, well, first he had brass balls, and number two, the guy had a big-time fastball, and he did not have any reservation about challenging hitters with fastballs. The last 2 years, North Carolina's best reliever has been Brian Moran. I respect the hell out of Brian Moran. He's had a great college career, but in Omaha, that guy has been terrible. He's got an 18-0 strikeout-to-walk ratio, and he still has given up 10 runs in 11 innings. He was not very good again tonight. Even Coach Fox acknowledged he did not have his best stuff. He didn't have a life, and he just is not he's not been a put-away guy here in Omaha. I thought that North Carolina handling the bullpen was a little iffy there with Colin Bates coming in and then instantly coming out. But I mean, again, for North Carolina, really here in Omaha, you get really just basically some bad luck. I mean, Garrett Gore losing that fly ball in right field. That was, I don't know if that's bad defense or bad luck. The wind was pretty brutal out there.
The sun, it sounded like, might have been a factor as well.
And a big sun field. But let's give credit where it's due to Arizona State. Number one, Josh Spence, as good as Alex White was today, and he was fantastic. He was a lock number one, first-round pick. He pitched just like a first-round pick. Pitched off the fastball, which I love. The slider and the split were both very good when he needed them. But he was dominant today, 9 innings, 1 run. But North Carolina didn't have enough offense, and the big reason for that was Josh Spence. And I'll say it again, you don't just beat North Carolina with a lefty. You can't just throw any left-hander out there. You have to throw a really good left-hander. And Josh Spence, he's a really good left-hander, whether you're using wood bats, like they did in the Arizona Junior College League he was in, or you're using metal bats. He was outstanding today. He wasn't quite as good as Alex White, but he was close. And Mitchell Lamson, outstanding out of the bullpen.
It's exactly right. They had 2 quality lefties on this staff. I mean, and those guys got it done. And Kevin Brandt, Cody Wheeler, those guys are decent lefties too.
Good.
I mean, you can't just beat North Carolina with any lefty. That's why I think it comes down to just being a good pitcher. And yeah, it helps to be left-handed against North Carolina. We know that. But
Josh Spence is a really good pitcher.
He's a really good pitcher, bottom line. I mean, I think that if you pitch like that, you're going to beat most teams, right-handed or left-handed.
That's a great point. That's one I can agree on because we debated this earlier in the press box, not for recording. So now Arizona State and Texas both 1-0 in this bracket. We have the other bracket with the SEC matchup tomorrow. Arkansas with Brett Eibner, LSU with Lewis Coleman. Going to be tough. Our picks will come tomorrow morning. It's going to be tough to pick against Lewis Coleman in that one. Who's going home, Aaron, for this prediction? Cal State Fullerton and Virginia That's a tough one. Virginia already took care of UC Irvine's season. Can Virginia end another Big West team season here in Omaha? Hard to imagine Cal State Fullerton going 2-2.
Sean, I'm 0-4, so I'm going to wait and give this pick some more thought.
Good
really
idea.
Research it. And we got to try to avoid the 0-17. Although I think if I go 0-17,
You go 0-17.
I should get a chance to take Bryce Harper next year in the draft. I think that's how that should work.
If you go over 17, I'm buying Drover all year next year when we're back for the last year of the Black. But great podcast.
One more thought, John.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Today's two losers. I think Southern Miss has a real good chance to beat North Carolina on Tuesday, but I don't think Southern Miss has enough horses to run through the losers bracket and win that bracket. North Carolina, I do think, has enough horses if it can, win that game against Southern Miss.
Completely agree.
I think you've got Adam Warren, you've got Matt Harvey, you've got Patrick Johnson, and by then you can bring Alex White back probably. I think North Carolina is still alive.
I
I'm
agree.
not jumping off my championship pick, although it looks like a much longer shot now than it was at the beginning of the day.
I agree. North Carolina can still win the national championship. I don't think Southern Mississippi can. And on the other side, I really don't think Cal State Fullerton can win the national championship. I don't think they have the pitching depth to come back from the losers bracket. I think Virginia might. Virginia might have. I don't think that Virginia's going to win it either. But I think Virginia has more pitching depth than Cal State Fullerton. We'll talk about all this and more tomorrow. Much more College World Series coming up. We'll have our picks tomorrow morning. See if Aaron can go over 17. For Kirk Kenny and Aaron Fitt, I'm John Manuel. We'll see you tomorrow here at Rosenblatt Stadium.